He's back. After 15 years, Christopher Eccleston is coming back to Doctor Who. On Sunday just gone, Big Finish Productions announced that Christopher Eccleston will be ending his 15-year hiatus from Doctor Who and returning to record 12 full-length audio dramas with them. It's not him coming back to the TV show, yes, but to be honest, it's a start, and if you know about what happened between Chris and the executives and everything during the 2004-2005 Doctor Who season, this is huge. We thought he would never, ever come back, and even though there was rife speculation during the Day of the Doctor that he would just make a surprise cameo, that never happened, and because he didn't appear in the 50th anniversary special, we thought, it's never happening, he's never coming back. And yet, here he is, and I quote, "After 15 years, it'll be exciting to revisit the Ninth Doctor's world, bringing back life to a character I love playing." In my opinion, Eccleston's one series as the Doctor is absolutely immaculate. He is my favourite Doctor, I've said this before, and apparently the love for his Doctor and his series is what's actually brought him back to the show after this long. Now, if you're like me, this is probably going to be your first big dive into Big Finish, but they've been producing Doctor Who audiobooks for quite a long time, and they've brought back Doctors 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10, and the War Doctor as well, and given them more stories beyond their TV appearances. There is a truly fantastic, pun intended, team behind the Big Finish stories, so they're gonna do the Ninth Doctor justice, we think. But it doesn't mean we're not gonna throw our hat in the ring and give them a few things we want to see. My name is Rich, welcome to Who Culture. This is a video I never thought I'd ever get the chance to do. These are 5 things we need from Christopher Eccleston's Doctor Who return. Number 5, revisiting an era. When Doctor Who came back to our screens in 2005, helmed by Russell T Davies, the show was something very different to what it was before. It was much more mysterious. The character that we'd known for, 40 odd years prior was someone almost completely new, and the whole tone of the show had changed almost entirely. The show had much more complex storylines, and there was a much bigger focus on character development, both in the Doctor's case with the whole mysterious Time War at the time, Rose Tyler, Jackie Tyler, Mickey Smith, Captain Jack, even Pete Tyler. His run on the show was extremely short, only lasting 13 episodes, which, as I've already said, I think it's absolutely perfect from beginning to end. Now, I know so many people skipped 9 and went straight to Sexy 10, but this series was so important in the formation of Doctor Who, which is still going today. Series 1 introduced an overrunning series arc for better or worse in terms of the future, because they kind of got a bit stupid eventually. It brought along amazing enemies like the Empty Child and even the Slitheen for their 2 appearances throughout the course of the series. Lady Cassandra came back in Series 2 as well. Bringing back the Daleks was no easy feat, and they nailed that both times they appeared in the series. This is something Big Finish need to do as well. They need to find a really good, balanced mix of old and new for the Ninth Doctor to face. Now, since the Ninth Doctor remained pretty mysterious basically the entire way through his series, it was only really into Tennant's era and onwards we got to learn more about the Time War and the Doctor as a character and what their past was. They need to make sure they keep this mystery there. So, number 4, explore the weight of the Time War. As said at this point in the revived series, as in right at the beginning, we had no idea what the Time War was, and only really until 2013's Day of the Doctor did we really get a much more clear-ish picture of what was going on. Now, even though the people listening to these audio dramas will already know what happened in the Time War based on the Day of the Doctor in 2013 and what happened with the War Doctor, etc., that era between the War Doctor regenerating into Eccleston and Eccleston meeting Rose is completely blank. We will hopefully get to witness a Doctor that is completely broken after being convinced that he killed his entire species in the Time War. We saw the darkness and the sorrow within him during Series 1, and now we get to see it amplified, or hear it amplified. This does also mean they can't really hint at stuff to come, because at this point in time, the Doctor, nor his companion, nor do we know exactly what's happening. So this needs to be an era that remains very, very somber, very, very sad, and very, very dark. Whether we get to see Rose with the Doctor in these stories, we're not entirely sure. There is very little information out there about what's going to happen with these audio dramas, but this is something we definitely need to hear in these stories. Let's find out what was going on in Eccleston's mind during Series 1. Being able to go back and watch that series again for me for the billionth time with a new look on the character because of what I've heard in these stories, that is something that I've only just really thought of, and oh my god, I need it. Number 3, more adventures with Rose and Captain Jack. Now, as said, I think the majority of these stories need to take place before Rose, but it would be borderline stupid to not get Billie Piper and John Barrowman back to fill in the gaps between, say, The Doctor Dances and Boomtown. There's a big section there that's completely missing because they go off and do all these different things. They tell stories and have a lot of laughs and they bond as a group. That's something we never got to see. This era between the Doctor Dancers and Boomtown and Bad Wolf are the only eras they can really explore since the end of The Parting of the Ways leads straight into David Tennant, and we know for a fact that Tennant didn't meet Jack again until Utopia in Series 3. So going back to those two eras with these characters would be a lot of fun. Maybe we get to hear a bit more context about the stories that Rose tells Mickey during Boomtown. And both Billie Piper and John Barrowman have come back to do Big Finish stories for Doctor Who and for Torchwood, so it's not exactly alien for them to come back again, especially if they get to work with Chris again. That's literally a win-win. Win-win-win-win-win. Do it. Number 2. Face off against the Cybermen. The Cybermen reappeared in New Who in Series 2, but technically they appeared in Series 1 in Dalek when the Doctor comes across a Cyberman's helmet inside a glass case in Henry Van Statten's museum. The 9th Doctor is one of the few Doctors to have never faced the Cybermen alongside the 3rd, 8th and War Doctor, but in the case of the 3rd and the 8th, they have actually done so on Big Finish, so now is the time for 9 to come up against the Cybermen. In fact, this helmet from Dalek kind of doesn't make sense in terms of its design and where it comes in the Who canon, so maybe this head specifically, maybe the Doctor is referencing it because he's actually dealt with this specific Cyberman before. Maybe we get a bit of backstory, maybe there's a post-credits in the audio of, I don't know, one of Henry Van Statten's goons coming and picking up a broken helmet and walks off into the distance, or at least we hear them walking off into the distance. However, there is one little thing that Big Finish need to make sure they do if they do put him against the Cybermen. Rose can't be there. When they first came across the Cybermen in Series 2, Rose had no idea what they were apart from the brief time she saw this one in Henry Van Statten's museum, so Rose can't be there. This has to be prior to him meeting Rose. Continuity, Big Finish. I know you're pretty good at that, but I'm going to be scrutinising it left, right and centre. And also a complaint about Series 1 is the fact that it all took place on Earth or on a space station, so maybe doing a Cyberman episode might actually put the Doctor on an alien planet. I'm pretty certain out of 12 stories, at least a few of them will be set on alien planets. Hearing the Doctor go toe-to-toe with a Dalek, monologuing or actually duologuing against a Dalek in Dalek is probably the defining 9th Doctor moment, and hearing him do that with a Cyberman opposite him, that will be fantastic. And number 1, pre-Rose stories. Now, I've already said this is something that they really need to explore. What happened prior to Rose? We don't have any idea how long this section of the Doctor's story is between him regenerating from John Hurt to meeting Rose, and this is something, as said, they really do need to explore. Would we have a new companion written in for the Big Finish 9th Doctor? That's normally the case with other Doctors, or would this be more of an interesting, almost monologue approach to the 9th Doctor's Big Finish audio? Will he become a lone wolf and want to travel alone? Admittedly, that would make sense since he is a very broken man after the events of the Time War. Now, there is one huge question regarding this era. When did the War Doctor choose to call himself the Doctor again? Now, during the events of the Day of the Doctor, the War Doctor is eventually referred to as the Doctor by his future counterparts, and even himself in the end, when he realises that what he's doing is actually good. But as we know, all of the Doctors will eventually forget that the events of that episode special happened. So the War Doctor would regress back into the state of, I've just killed my entire species, I'm not worthy to be called the Doctor. Would this regeneration just simply make him think, okay, maybe I can again, or is that little twinkle still there? Or is there something else that made the Doctor realise that he's there to help people, there to save people? Maybe doing good deeds is swinging his conscience back into being a good person. Maybe we get to witness an almost early Capaldi-esque Doctor with the 9th Doctor on Big Finish where he's not sure whether he's a good man. Maybe the first couple of episodes of this run might not feature the Doctor, it might just feature Christopher Eccleston incognito almost. But there's one thing he can't do pre-Rose is look in a mirror, because he does that in Rose's apartment and he notices the ears, etc, etc. So obviously after regenerating, he hadn't seen himself, unless he just forgets what he looks like. But amidst all of these things I have pitched, there is one thing that we can all agree on. This is ridiculously exciting. I've said this before, Eccleston is my Doctor, and to have him back was something truly mind-blowing. Seeing that tweet revealing that Eccleston was coming back to the role in some way or another, it doesn't matter that it's only on Big Finish, that's huge for me, because Eccleston's series of Doctor Who is kind of what pushed me into pursuing video and stuff like that, doing my degree, doing media studies, and being where I am now. I kind of weirdly owe that to falling in love with Doctor Who and television production and film and so on and so forth, so this is really big for me. and I hope it's big for you too. So let me know in the comment section down below what you want to see from Christopher Eccleston's return to Doctor Who on Big Finish next year. I don't even care. I've done this wish list. Just give me more Eccleston. As long as they write him correctly, and to be honest, Big Finish have done really, really well with exploring the characters of the Doctor without changing them too much. I have great faith in them to do something amazing, and I'm probably just going to sit and cry through the entire flipping thing. Thank you very much for watching this video of me just getting really excited about things because holy crap, it's actually happening. Please subscribe to Who Culture if you haven't already, and you can follow us on Twitter at Who Culture. You can follow me on Twitter at PickupChangeToe and on Twitch at RichIsLive. Please listen to the Escaping Kasterborous Doctor Who podcast because we are currently rewatching Series 1, which is very apt. If you've not watched Series 1 and you've skipped 9, go back and watch it. It's perfect. Until I see you again, take care of yourselves. I will see you soon.